So your question is, enlightenment is something vague. When will I get enlightened? I don't know. That's what you're trying to say. See, here you have to understand who is I. Okay. When I speak of I, there are three levels of meaning. One is the outer level of meaning. For the society purpose, I am a woman, I am a man, I am a body, I am a husband. That I is valid I. Relevant I for a transaction. Okay. So then that's what society thinks of you. That is the meaning of that I. Then you think of yourself as something which society does not know. Your mental image of yourself is another I. Oh, I'm great, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. So it's a mental image of yourself. So what society thinks of you, one level. What you think of yourself is another level. But what you really are is not relative to society, or not related to what you think. What really you are is the real I. The real I has no problem of enlightenment, no problem of liberation, no bondage, no death. It's always free. The real I has no problems whatsoever. Only relative I has a problem. The ego I, which is used for transaction in the world, is called ego. That has a problem. But real I has no problem. So when you say, I am a woman, it's perfectly correct with respect to the world. When you say, I am unhappy, it's perfectly correct with respect to mind. But when you say, I am unenlightened, you are referring to the real I. Enlightenment is about finding the real I. So then you are actually superimposing a falsehood on the I. As long as you don't know about it, does not matter. Most of the people are unaware of real I. They are only living in the relative I of what world says, and what you think of yourself. They live in that world only. They are not aware of the real I. But the very purpose of teaching of Vedanta, very purpose of teaching of Jnana, very purpose of going meeting Mahatmas, enlightened beings, to understand what is real I. So understand the real I. I'm the real I. Okay, the real I has no problems. Is the purpose of listening to the spiritual teaching. So now, after listening to the teaching, which is the truth, the teaching of Vedanta is Tattvamasi. You are that Brahman. You are that Brahman, infinite self. The Vedantic teaching is not that you have to become Brahman. One day you will become Brahman. You are now. Now you are Brahman. Now you are the infinite self. Not tomorrow. If you have become tomorrow, then Brahman is available in the time. No, I have to become Brahman. I have to go to Himalayas. Then Brahman is available in space. It's not depend on time and space. You are already Brahman. So this is the teaching of Vedanta. Now, your entire effort should be directed towards Shravana, listening to the teaching. The teaching is given in many ways, in different Upanishads, in given many ways, so that at least some way it will click to you. It will click in your mind. Then remove the doubts, manana, and meditate. That means hold on to the truth, nididhyasa. This is the process. Shravana, manana, nididhyasa is process. In the entire process, you are dropping what is falsehood. You are not getting truth. Truth you are not gaining. The truth cannot be gained. It's what is there already. You are already Brahman. You are already awareness. You are already liberated. You are already mukta. One day, by doing some effort, by some magic, I'll become enlightened. One day I'll become liberated. That understanding is not the teaching of Vedanta. So then what exactly is the teaching of Vedanta? Your understanding of life is colored by perceptions, colored by understanding of society behavior, colored by your own imaginations. So that understanding has to be corrected. That correction is correcting your thinking, not gaining something. Wrong thinking has to be corrected. That is the process of Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa. Wrong thinking should be removed and right thinking should be practiced. This is teaching. It is not that you will gain something, you will gain enlightenment or mukti one day, because Atma is already free from everything. So I am the Atma from the societal I, the I which is exposed to society, to the personal I, which is what I think of myself, to real I. Your mind has to constantly go to the real I. That's why Ramana Maharshi, whenever you ask, when somebody asks a question to Ramana Maharshi, I am suffering. Then Ramana Maharshi say, who is asking the question? He is only pointing to your real I. Real I will never suffer. So I want enlightenment. You ask Ramana Maharshi. Then he'll say, who is asking the question? So when he means who is asking the question, the three I's he knew: the social I, the personal I, and real I. Who is asking the question? The social I is asking the question. The social I cannot get enlightenment. His personal I can ask the question. Personal I cannot get enlightenment. This is your imagination. Real I doesn't need enlightenment. The social identity and personal identity is superimposed on the real I. I am happy or unhappy is the mental experience you are superimposed on real I. So when Ramana Maharshi asks, who are you really? Who is asking the question? He is pointing it out to there are three I's in you: the social I, social identity, personal identity, and real I. If it is real I, you will not ask the question. Now, the only change of spiritual challenge is correcting our understanding and focusing on the real I all the time. There's nothing to be gained. You're not going to gain something new from the spiritual life. It's like sun is covered by the cloud. Okay, it appears to be dark. When the cloud moves, sun is there. Sun is always shining. Atma, the self, is always shining. It does not require by mental concepts. If you remove, then what is there is Atma only. Wrong understanding you remove. So this self-realization is like a process of dropping something by the process of neti, not gaining something. Anything, when any times of wrong idea comes, you should be able to drop it in the way of right identity. This is called discrimination. It is more like a process of digging a well. When you dig a well, you keep on removing mud, and finally water is there already. What is already there? So you should be able to remove wrong understanding. And how do you understand wrong understanding? What is wrong understanding? You have to understand in the view of right understanding given by teaching of Vedanta. What is right and wrong? You have to discriminate. If wrong ideas comes, you should discriminate and catch hold of right things. Then if you keep on emptying out wrong things, the right is already there. The Atma you cannot get because you are the Atma already. Self-realization you cannot get because self is already realized. You cannot become enlightened one day because self is already illuminating itself. It's the light itself. It's the Atma Jyoti, light. The correction has to happen in the mind. Wrong understanding has to happen in the wrong understanding, or correction has to happen in the mind. That's why Vedantic teaching is Mana eva karanam manshanam bandha moksheho. Mind alone is the cause of bondage and liberation. So wrong thoughts in the mind is bondage. Right thoughts in the mind is correction. When the right thought removes the wrong thought, then the mind is peaceful. Right thought acts like a vaccine. Wrong thought is like a virus. The vaccine destroys the virus. Then after the right thought is also not required. Wrong thought also disappears. When you give the medicine, the disease will go. After the medicine is not required. So our whole job is to cultivate the right thinking. Use that right thinking to eliminate wrong thoughts. This is what's called discrimination or viveka. So when you have viveka, discrimination, whatever you speak from a reality point of view, the truth point of view. When you say, I am suffering, which I you are referring? Are you referring to Atma, or are you referring to mind, or are you referring to body? I am not enlightened. When you are saying that, are you referring to mind, or body, or the Atma? So if you mix up these, then you are confusing reality with unreality. How can you do that confusion when you have listened to Shravana, Manana, Nidhyas has been done so many times? How can you confuse yourself? What did I tell you? There are two aspects of us in our life. There's an unchanging aspect and changing aspect. Unchanging aspect has never changed in your life, and that's real life. That's pointing to real life. You say, I am born, I am growing, I am becoming old. That I has not changed. That is Atma. Then there's a body which changes, the mind which changes, the intellect which changes. This belongs to the social identity or personal identity. So which are you real you are? What is real you? That you only know. Always you refer to your self as unchanging I. Have you ever thought that I'm changing? I was born, I grew up, I'm getting married, I got married, I had a job. The I has not changed. So you know deep inside that you are unchanging I. That's what Vedanta is pointing out. There's an unchanging part in you that's called Nitya. And there's changing part in you called Anitya. The changing part can never be you. And that you know very well. How can be changing part you? The body changes, the mind changes, the intellect changes. The body which was there 1 year back is no longer there. It's a different body. The mind which is different. The intellect is different. So how can you confuse between the changing and unchanging? Then when you say, I am not enlightened, what are you referring to? Are you referring to Atma, which is unchanging? That means you hope that unchanging will one day become enlightened. Or intellect, which requires intellect gets illuminated with knowledge. The knowledge is already you are getting every day through Shravana Manana Nidhyasa. So what is not happening is your thought process you are not correcting. You're holding on to old thought process. The wrong thought process has to be corrected in view of the teaching of Vedanta. If you keep on repeating the old thought process, how the correction will happen? When the old thought process comes, immediately to remove the teaching of Vedanta. Oh, this is a wrong thought process. You have to drop the wrong thought process. That is meaning of Nidhyasa. Again and again, go back to truth. It is like alcoholic. Doctor says you are drinking alcohol, your health is getting deteriorated. You should stop drinking alcohol. Again, he sees alcohol, he'll start drinking. It's a habit pattern. That habit pattern, can doctor correct it? You have to correct it. We are addicted to wrong I, false I. This is like addiction. It's an alcoholic addiction. Addicted to wrong I. Social identity, I am addicted. Personal identity, I am addicted. I don't want to give up my personal identity. I am suffering my whole life. I am not happy. So it's like an alcoholic addiction. This Shankaracharya calls us Maya Madira Pitaha. We are identifying with the wrong thing. It's called avidya, ignorance. Now, as you get love Shravana Manana, you should identify this is a wrong habit pattern. Let me correct it. That's what is required. The alcoholic, the moment he sees a bottle, he should remember the doctor's word. Oh my God, if I drink this, my health will be spoiled. The doctor cannot come and stop you from drinking alcohol. It's you have to do that. What you have to do is called Nidhyasa. You have to personally correct your wrong thinking. The doctor cannot alcoholic from stopping drinking. He cannot come to his alcohol shop. He can come to his clinic, he says, okay, don't do it. But alcoholics goes to liquor shop and start drinking. Doctor cannot prevent it. Similarly, the Vedantic teaching says, Tattvamasi, you are Brahman, I can teach you that. But when you go home, you start your own world thinking, the wrong process of thinking. I cannot come and correct that. This correction is required from your side. It's called nididhyasa, for which a satsang is required. It's called manana, or a group satsang is required. That's where Vedanta Study Circle is formed, where many people come together and discuss. Then the correction has to happen in your mind. Whenever you get a wrong thought, you should correct yourself. That's why Ramana Maharshi, whenever people say something, you'll not give very detailed explanation. You just ask, who is asking, who are you? He's pointing to real I. Real I has no problem, false I has no solution. Are you trying to find a solution for a false I? The false I has no solution because it's constantly changing. Today you find solution, tomorrow you come out with another problem. Because it's constantly changing. The real I has never a problem. So you have to decide, what are you? Are you a real I or a false I? If you are trying to solve the problem false I, today you have one problem, next year another problem. It's never ending problem for the false I, because constantly changing reality, body, mind, and intellect, and society. So you have to settle down yourself in the real I. This is the meaning of Mundaka Upanishad sloka, Satyameva Jayate. Have you heard of this? It is there in our national emblem, Satyameva Jayate. What is the meaning of Satyameva Jayate? One who speaks the truth alone is victorious. One who speaks the truth alone is victorious. Satyam eva jayate. It's not the truth. Truth is victorious. One who speaks the truth is victorious. Do you speak the truth? When you say, I'm suffering, I am is never suffering. I stands for consciousness and am stands for existence. The consciousness and existence, which is unchanging reality, can never suffer. So are you telling the truth? I am suffering. When you say, I am not enlightened, the existence and consciousness can never be enlightened because it's already there. It doesn't require enlightenment. So which I you are speaking of? If you analyze that which I, then you'll never speak that falsehood. That's the meaning of Ramana Maharshi asking the question, who are you? No, I cannot focus. Which I cannot focus? Who is that I? Am I the Atma? Unchanging I? Atma is unchanging I. Already you know. Every time when you speak of I, you are only speaking of I. The unchanging I. I am not able to focus is superimposing on not being able to focus on the Atma. If you say my mind is not able to focus, then it's a different thing. My mind is also not correct. Mind is not able to focus is different thing. That's an object. Why are you superimposing the object called body and mind on the Atma? So there is a pain in the body. Correct. There's a pain in my body. That's not correct because Atma is unattached. There is a suffering in life. Agreed. But I am suffering is wrong. Because you are superimposing everything on the Atma. Nothing is happening to you. I am old is wrong. The body is old is correct. So the truth has two dimensions. One is what is called the inner self, and what is called outer self, or the body, mind, intellect, and the outer world. Absolute reality and transaction reality. Absolute reality is I am the Satyam, the truth, unchanging reality. And what is changing reality is called Mithya. So whenever you superimpose Mithya on Satya, the changing reality on the unchanging reality, you are doing a mistake. This error has to be corrected. It's an error only. This error has to be corrected in the view of right teaching of Vedanta. If you say body, there's a pain in the body, I have no problems. But the moment you say I am in pain, then you are superimpose that on the I am, which is a real I, which is never changed. So 10 years back you are saying I am, now also you're saying I am has not changed. The mix-up of happening, Mithya and Satya is mix-up is happening. That you have to be very careful at every point of time. So now Satyameva Jayate, You have to, truth alone will be victorious. One who speaks the truth alone is victorious. That means you don't have to, when you don't have to tell to somebody, I am fine, the body is suffering. You don't have to say that. As long as you know the truth, whatever communication you do is fine. Okay. But in your mind, the truth has to be very well established. I am free from anything. The body is suffering. It's okay. But when you go to doctor, no, I'm not suffering. The body is suffering. You can't say that. For translation purpose, you will use the word, proper word. But your understanding, never you should confuse. You should be very clear. Nanu, nanembudu, nanu, nanembudu, nanalla, ideha, manabuddhi, nanalla, sachidanandatma, Shivanannani, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm pure consciousness, Shiva Swarupa. This has to be clear to you. But what you communicate to others, I have no problems. Because you don't want to confuse others. So if you go in front of husband, what do you think? I'm not a body, I'm not a wife, I'm Atma. You don't say that. Transactional purpose, whatever role you have to play well. But if you start thinking that as a reality, then you're in problem. An actor can play the role of a beggar. An actor can play the role of a rich man, a policeman, but always he knows he's an actor. When he plays the beggar's role, he'll play the dialogue, tell the dialogue properly. When he plays the rich man's role, he'll play the dialogue properly. But he should never think that I'm beggar or a rich man. Then there's a problem. Then he'll go mad. So you should know the truth all the time. If you know the truth, that is called Satyameva Jayate. Transactional purpose, you use the words, but never confuse yourself with the real self with the social identity and personal identity. That means living in the truth. Satyameva Jayate. The truth has two dimensions. Okay. One is the absolute truth, which is I, which I can, the real I. About that, I cannot tell anybody. I am Brahman, I am Atma. I cannot tell anybody. I should know very clearly. But when I tell something, I should never mix up the real I with the false I. For transition purpose, you can say, I'm suffering, you can say, because the person doesn't understand real I. But for yourself, what you are saying, I is not suffering, the body is suffering. That separation has to happen in your mind. That separation happening in your mind is called nididhyasa, not for somebody else. If you constantly confuse in your own mind, then you're not doing nididhyasa. Nididhyasa just doesn't mean the sitting eyes closed. Nididhyasa means constant discrimination. What is right, what is wrong. And anything which is wrong, you should not tell to yourself. So telling to what you tell to yourself causes more damage to you than what you tell to others. So there is a guideline. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, na bruyat, satyam apriyam, priyam cha nanratam bruyat, esha dhanma sanatanaha. Satyam bruyat. So this is for the transactional reality. This teaching is for the transactional reality in the Vyavarika world. In the Paramarthik world, you should know the truth. You don't have to tell to anybody. I am Shiva Swarupi, I am Brahman. You don't have to tell to anybody. But if you tell to yourself that I am suffering yourself, then you are doing mistake. What you talk to yourself is more dangerous than what you talk to others. You have to correct your own self-talk about yourself. That's called nididhyasa. Are you doing it? When you say, I'm not enlightened, one day I'll get enlightened, one day Jivan Mukti will come, Mukti is for somebody, all those things are false. Vedantic teaching is Tattvamasi, you are already that now. Now you say, oh, I'm not feeling I am that. Perfectly all right. Nothing wrong in that. So you say, there's no feeling of I am Brahman in my mind. In the mind. You separate out the mind from you. You don't have to brainwash yourself that I am Brahman. But separate out who is speaking, which identity is speaking. Create the gap between create the distance between the real I and the false I. That's Nididhyasa. Understand, the mind is saying that I don't have a feeling of I am Brahman. Perfectly all right. The mind is like that. Do Shravana Manana Nididhyasa. Okay, but I am not Brahman. Then when you say, then you are going against the teaching of Vedanta. Satyam Bruya means you have to tell the truth. To whom? You tell the truth to yourself. Understand the truth to yourself. That's called discrimination, Viveka. That's called Nididhyasa. You may be having the idea that Nididhyasa means I'll sit with my eyes closed. That's also Nididhyasa. But with the eyes open, what you keep on constantly talking to yourself is falsehood. Then it's not Nididhyasa. If you are able to correct yourself with the right understanding, Nididhyasa. When mind says something, ask, who am I? Who is speaking? Then go to real life. Then understand that this is mind. Mind is not me. Then you are in real life. That's called Nididhyasa. Constantly holding on to truth. Satyam Bruyat means tell the truth to yourself first. Then in the transaction world, the truth is about fact. Okay, fact means what is there, you tell as it is. Fact is available to sense organs and the mind. Okay, fact is verifiable. Truth is your own inner reality. So tell the fact, don't tell the lies. That's the meaning of external world. It's Vyavaharika. Okay, when you tell the fact, what is the advantage is your conscious mind and subconscious mind, there is no split. So when you tell a lie about the fact, okay, you have to remember in your subconscious mind. Consciously, you have to justify the lie. A split will develop in the conscious mind and subconscious mind. Then you are not a whole person, you are a split personality. Imagine you told a lie to somebody 10 years back. Even today you have to remember, because you have to justify with the new lie. So that means a conscious reality and subconscious reality, there's a gap which will happen. The conscious mind and subconscious mind will be not in sync. So that's a best practice is always to tell the truth. Now, sometimes telling the truth hurts you or hurts somebody. Right? Priyam cha nandratam bruyad. Don't tell. Keep quiet. Instead of telling a lie, keep quiet. Then you are not creating a split within conscious and subconscious. You are not telling a lie will damage you more. Conscious and subconscious mind will split. Priyam cha nandratam bruyad. So then, even if it pleases somebody, don't tell lies, because the moment you tell lies, there is a split in you. Conscious mind, subconscious mind splits. Satyam bruyat, tell the truth. Priyam bruyat, okay, tell the truth in such a way to somebody in a pleasing manner. Why is pleasing manner? By telling them the truth, you are encouraging them, helping them to grow. Your purpose is not to hurt them. Encouraging. So somebody comes and asks me, am I evolving spiritually? I'll say, oh, you are doing great. Okay. So the whole purpose is to encourage them. Am I telling untruth? I'm not telling untruth, because my reference is always with respect to real life. There's no split in me when I tell that person may not be doing great spiritually. But I'm saying you are doing great spiritually because I am referring to real life. But the person is asking the question from the ego. I am not telling the untruth, because I know deep inside me, I am telling the truth only. Even though factually it may be untruth. Understand? So factually the person is suffering and he is living in ego. Factually he is not evolving. But for me, I speak from the reference of the truth. Priyam chana satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Tell the truth in a way that pleases, helps person to evolve. Priyam cha nandatam bruyat. If somebody, for sake of pleasing somebody, don't tell the untruth. This is for the relative world. Esha dharma sanatana. This is sanatana dharma. This is the guideline about the outer world. Here also applies, because as long as you tell the fact, people will trust you. And if you don't talk, keep quiet in circumstances where you can't tell the fact, then also your people will trust you. But the telling the fact will make your mind, conscious mind and subconscious mind, one unit in the relative world. Now let us take a spiritual teaching. Spiritual teaching is consciously you are getting a teaching from Vedanta, Tattvamasi, consciously you are understood. Subconsciously you are same old person. That means conscious mind and subconscious mind split is there. Oh, I am suffering. I grew up like this. I have to get enlightened. Subconscious mind is all old data is there. It's called vasanas. Now there is a split between the conscious mind and subconscious mind. This is about Paramarthika Satya I am speaking of. Right? So the whole purpose is conscious mind and subconscious mind should be healed. There should be one reality. So in your mind, I am so and so, I am so and so, I am suffered is there. Consciously, you know, I am Brahman, I am Shiva Swarupi is there. Now, how do you correct it? The correction is that whenever subconscious mind says something, the consciously you have to correct it. Then subconscious mind get corrected. It's like a child. The correction, if you have to apply, then the subconscious mind get corrected. This correction, applying this correction is called nididhyasa. Nobody else will know from outside. Internally, you are talking to myself. When I will get enlightened, I am suffering. Nobody will know from outside. Your conscious mind has to correct that. The conscious mind has to be driven by the teaching of Guru. Guru has to be in you in the form of wisdom. Then the correction will happen. If you don't correct it, the subconscious mind will repeat it and the conscious mind also will say, true, I'm suffering. Then happen instead of correcting the subconscious mind, your conscious mind also is following what it says. You're trying to avoid a friction in the subconscious mind. The conscious mind has to say, apply proper logic. The Guru has told me like this, Vedanta has told me like that. That's why I am reality. I am not suffering. I am Atma. So if you apply this consciously, consistently, the subconscious mind gets corrected. Other subconscious mind will do the same vasanas. Then again you repeat the same vasanas to somebody else. We think that we are sharing actually. We are repeating lies. We are repeating falsehood about Atma. So you go and tell, oh, what? Life, enlightenment is so difficult. It's only liberation. So you're telling your mind, but it's not in tune with Vedantic teaching. So your conscious mind, you're telling a lie. So consciously you are aware that Atma, you are already Atma. You cannot become Atma. You are already Brahman. You cannot become Brahman. That consciously you know. Then why are you repeating wrong things? By repeating wrong things, you are teaching the subconscious mind that wrong things again. The correction will never happen. The gap between the conscious mind and subconscious mind will continue. So consciously never tell anything which is against Vedantic teaching. Wrong thing which is not into Vedantic teaching. Consciously hold on to right teaching of Vedanta, and when subconscious mind comes with the wrong thought, correct it. The correction is called nididhyasa. Nididhyasa, nidhi means wealth. The wealth is atmadana. I am pure consciousness. I am not a body. I am not a mind. Hold on to the wealth. Then you will be victorious. Then you will be victorious in the inner world and outer world. Satyameva jayate means this. Are you living life like that? Are you living your life like that? That's your task. That's why Ramana Maharshi, he doesn't give lot of answer, detailed answer. He'll ask, who is asking the question? That's all. He's trying to point out the real I. The real I has no problem. The false I has no solution. So when your conscious mind and subconscious mind has to become one, so your actions also in tune with that. So I am Brahman. Everything is Brahman. So if everything is Brahman, I have to have service-oriented attitude, because I am the world. I am serving the world for my own self. I'm not doing for anybody else's benefit. So your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and your action should be in tune. The head, heart, and hands should be one reality. This you have to bring consciously again and again. Correction has to happen consciously. That's the consciousness thing. This is the only thing which is available to you. How do you do that? Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa you do. Seva you do. Subconscious mind and conscious mind tries to become one. Then false thoughts will come. Correct the false thoughts. That's correcting the false thoughts is called nididhyasa. This process is exactly like driving a car or driving anything, learning anything in life. When you learn to drive a car, you will drive very consciously, cautiously, because conscious mind only is learning. Then what you learn consciously gradually starts going to subconscious mind. Then after some time, driving becomes very smooth because subconscious mind is already learned. Then wherever you look, you can look anywhere. Conscious mind can be anywhere, but subconscious mind will drive. So the conscious mind is using learning to teach subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the only thing available to you for teaching. There's no other way. That's why all teaching happens in the conscious mind. So when the teaching goes deep, the conscious mind and subconscious mind will work in tune. Conscious mind tells subconscious mind, let's drive now. I'll relax. So subconscious mind drive. It doesn't oppose you. So question is, what are you teaching for the subconscious mind? Are you teaching the right thing or wrong thing? If you have understood Vedanta teaching, if wrong thoughts come, correct it. Instead of repeating lies, repeating falsehood. The moment you repeat falsehood, you are actually teaching our subconscious mind wrong things. Don't talk falsehood. I'm not enlightened. I'm not liberated. I'm suffering. All those are falsehoods. Keep your mouth shut. If you can't tell the truth, don't tell lies. By telling lies about the self, Atma, then you are corrupting your subconscious mind. Whenever you're superimposing doership, enjoyership, knowership, kartrutva, bhoktrutva, natatva, and Atma, you are corrupting the subconscious. What are you teaching the subconscious mind? Forget about teaching the subconscious mind. Do you teach something wrong to your children? Consciously, do you teach something wrong to your children? Wrong habits? Your subconscious mind like a child. Constantly feeding wrong inputs to the subconscious mind. In spite of knowing right things. The person who doesn't know Vedanta teaching is okay. The person who knows Vedanta teaching has to give the right teaching to subconscious mind. That's called Nididhyasa. That's called holding the feet of the Guru. Guru is teaching, given teaching. Vivek and Vairagya has gone. That teaching has to be, you have to hold and correct your subconscious thoughts whenever they come up. That's Nididhyasa. Whether you do it with eyes open or eyes closed, I don't care. Nididhyasa, whenever we say that you have to do with eyes closed, are you doing it? So there is a story. One guru in an ashram finds a monkey who has lost his mother. Out of compassion, he brings the monkey and feeds the monkey. The monkey grows in the ashram. The monkey grows and it's a gorilla, big gorilla, very powerful gorilla. Growing with all the shishas, gorilla also becomes learns whatever the ashram, whatever activities are going in ashram. It will also start doing service. It will go to the forest, fetch the wood. It will come and cook the food. It will take care of all ashram activities much better because it's a 400-pound gorilla, very strong. Guru is very pleased with the gorilla. The gorilla has been taught very good jobs. One day Guru says, I'm sleeping, please fan me. The gorilla is fanning him. One small fly comes and sits on the nose of the Guruji. The gorilla is very angry. It chases the fly. It comes and sits on the face. Then gorilla takes a hammer and smashes that fly. Our subconscious mind is very powerful. Conscious mind is only 5%. Subconscious mind 95%. What are you teaching the subconscious mind is what makes a lot of difference. It's like a gorilla, very powerful. What are you teaching? What are you instructing it? Is your Nididhyasa. Your instruction is according to truth or the falsehood. Whenever you speak something, you have to ask, who is this speaking? The social identity or personal identity or real I? That questioning happens. A lot of corrections happens inside you. That is the meaning of Satyameva Jayate. The truth, one who speaks the truth alone is victorious. Now, this speaking of the truth is about the outer world is fact. About the inner world, about truth, who am I? Is that clear? Any questions? So, can you stop, Gayatri?